Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here once again, and this is going to be my review of Enslaved Odyssey to the West. This game is on the PS3 and the 360. It is developed by Ninja Theory and published by Namco. Now, Ninja Theory, this is their second game. Their first game was... I really should have taken it off my pile of games before doing this review, because I do own it. Their first game was Heavenly Sword, an early PS3 exclusive. Now, I liked Heavenly Sword, it was a pretty lackluster exclusive for the PS3 to have in 2007. It wasn't like AAA, oh my god, amazing. It wasn't a good reason to buy a PS3, which is what the PS3 really needed at the time. But it was a pretty good game, lots of variety in it. The combat system was really good. Its only major, flaw was its length. It was only about 6 hours long, really short. It was quite laughable, to be honest with you. And I'm going to say right now, Enslaved is twice as long as Heavenly Sword. That's not saying much, it's only about 10 to 12 hours long, but still I give props to Ninja Theory for at least taking the issue of length, with their game and trying to rectify it in their latest game. So yeah, Enslaved is based off a Chinese novel called Journey to the West, I believe it's called. Have I read this book? Take a guess. Right, but apparently it is loosely adapted around it. They've adapted it into a post-apocalyptic New York City, and it's all about these two characters, Monkey and Trip, and a third character which I'll talk about in a second. Now, both of them were captured by this company. It's not really explained right away, but basically this thing called Pyramid, right? They kidnap people and turn them into slaves by putting headbands on them, and both Monkey and Trip have been kidnapped. However, both manage to escape from a flying ship as it's about to go down. It comes crashing down for whatever reason. But as they both escape, Trip manages to get a band onto Monkey's head and therefore enslaves him, and if she dies, he dies, so Monkey has to help Trip get through the apocalyptic New York City and back home, and it kind of picks up from there. Now, there's a lot of good... it's a good opportunity to show true companionship in game, I love games that do this, games like Ico, that's like the strongest example. Primal, less so Ratchet and Clank, when you've got this other character with you that contributes to the gameplay, but is not some useless, character that you've just got with you just so you can play co-op, like Sheva from Resi 5, hate her. So yeah, and yeah, it's... the story is really emotional. It really is, when you're traveling with these characters, you really get to know them, you really connect, and the relationship builds up extremely well. I don't think they could have done it better anyway, to be honest. It pretty much is exactly what it says in the tin. Everything they sort of say, hyping it towards, is really good. And it was co-written by Alex Garland. I believe he did work for Heavenly Sword as well. He plays a Monkey, and he does a fantastic job. It's well acted in that as well. And so yeah, as for the overall story itself, well, during the second half it takes sort of a turn, really. I don't really want to spoil it, but I'm kind of mixed on it, particularly with this character here, Pigsy. Pigsy is really inconsistent. He goes through like 4 phases throughout the game. I really don't want to say them because I want to keep this review spoiler free, but yeah, basically he kind of bugged me, and I liked him at first. His first phase was actually quite likable, but later on it's like, oh well. But yeah, story-wise it is one of the strongest things you can play. Real surprising ending as well. Again, I'm sort of mixed on the ending, but maybe that's a good thing, because it does make you think, So yeah. Right. Let me talk about the graphics, actually. Now, when it first came out, in fact, even to this day, Heavenly Sword really blew me away visually. It just looks so beautiful. And, I believe when they were starting to develop it, Ninja Theory took a lot of risks, because they didn't even have a PS3 to develop it on. And they had to hope that when the PS3 was released that it was strong enough to run Heavenly Sword. I think that's what it was anyway. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, overall, this is a really, really pretty looking game. You know, very colourful, huge in scale. It does slow down a bit from time to time, but not to the extent where it's unplayable by no means. In fact, I've heard that the PS3 version slows down a bit more than the 360. So either way, you'll be set from what I've played anyway. I do want to rant a little bit though about multi-plat releases. You know, this game does kind of show me. You know, after playing Heavenly Sword, which looked absolutely beautiful, it was an exclusive. It really does show you how much a developer can accomplish. You know, when they're developing on just one console rather than two, because you got to make sacrifices so each console can run it. Yada yada. That's nothing to do with the game. I'm just saying, if you've played Heavenly Sword, you will sort of notice that. But yeah, like I said, colourful. It's the prettiest post-apocalyptic world I've ever seen anyway. And the characters themselves, they look fantastic. And yeah, it's really, really good. Really excellent looking. Music, sound effects and all that, they're all good too, but you don't care about those, do you? Right. Gameplay. Now, the gameplay kind of has three areas, if you will. Combat, navigation, and puzzle solving. You get a real equal measure of all of them, and there's a lot of variety in the game. Let me go into them in detail actually. Combat, it's a fairly simple, easy to pick up combat scheme without getting too complicated. I really admire a game that does that. You know, you've just got Monkey as his staff, you just got 2 attack buttons, you can do some simple combos, you basically just kill whatever in your path, and you can also upgrade as you go through the game when you're collecting orbs. But yeah, combat is really simple and fun. I really like it. Navigation, there's a couple of things to point out about this. It kind of adapts from Uncharted, you know, going from ledge to ledge and all that. You know, just a fixed linear path. And not like Assassin's Creed where you can jump on anything. No, like Uncharted, you can only climb on what the developer asks you to. And Enslaved kind of takes it in a whole new direction in terms of linearity. Almost in a way of taking the piss, to be honest. You actually can't fall off anything, right? You can press the X button to jump, and you'll jump from ledge to ledge when there's a ledge to jump off of. But say there's a bottomless pit there, you can't jump in there, the game won't allow it. And when you're trying to, you know, hop from ledge to ledge, whatever, and say you press the analog stick in the wrong direction and you tap X and you should die, but you won't die. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. It really, really limits the sense of exploration and risk involved in actually doing things like this, and what amounts to essentially is just press button to keep going. But when I think about the alternative being a lot of frustrating falls and whatnot, maybe it is for the best, and they do spice it up later in the game, you know, where you've got to time a few puzzles, and there is a bit of consequence there. So it's not a big thing, it really isn't. And as for the puzzle solving, you don't get too many of them, but they are good and they do get you thinking. So yeah, and like I just said there is a lot of variety to the gameplay. There's even a point in the game where you're playing something that resembles Gears of War, because Monkey's staff actually has a projectile sort of attack thing, and I don't know, I just remember that one bit where you were taking cover and shooting a bunch of mechs. Mechs are the main enemy, by the way. And yeah, it's just, you don't really get bored that much playing it. It's really well put together in terms of gameplay, it really is. As I said before, it's about 10 to 12 hours long, and there isn't much reason to go back to it, sadly. There's an easy, medium and hard mode. You can do that if you want. And there's collectibles in the form of these little orb things that you collect to get Monkey's abilities fully maxed out. And there's also these other collectibles that give you little flashbacks. They don't really make much sense, they're kind of just there if you wanted them, and they don't really unlock anything except trophies / achievements. So if that's your cup of tea, go ahead, but I didn't really care for getting achievements, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, overall I really did like this game. You know, I give it like maybe 8.5, maybe a low 9 out of 10. It really is creative. It looks brilliant. It's one of those games where I really just want to put the controller down and look at the environment, you know, and really appreciate what the developers went through to get it looking this good. And I won't be forgetting the the story anytime soon. I doubt we'll see a sequel. A couple of reviewers were saying we're probably going to get a sequel, but I don't know, I think it ended pretty well, to be honest. So yeah, there's also going to be some downloadable content later, actually. Well, according to the in-game menu. There's none available now, I think, but we'll see how that goes down. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I definitely highly recommend Enslaved Odyssey to the West, and yeah, see you after, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.